I am back, and I'm back with another interview. And this interview is going to be very informational, educational, fun, etc., etc., etc. So I have a guest on here today. She's in the producing area. Now she has plays that you will not forget. And the reason why you not forget is how she creates the characters on some of the creative ways that they do it, where she's at. Now, in the area of having fun, she doesn't know, but I want to ask her some very interesting questions that's going to have a lot to do with her career. So I hope she's prepared, but we're
No.
going to always have fun. You know, this is our platform. We want to have fun. We ask good questions and we get better answers in return. So the next voice you're going to hear will be from our guest.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
All right. So can you go ahead and tell everybody your name and what you do on the professional tip?
Sure. Hello. My name is Mary McCallum. I am an actor, writer, producer, director. I kind of do a little bit of everything when it comes to theater and film.
All right. So what if I'm like a hungry actor? I'm getting ready to start out and I
Mhm.
see you maybe on the street, maybe you're in Kroger's or whatever, and I know who you are. How do I introduce myself and let you know who I am and how can I get into the acting field? So how should I approach you about that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty approachable, I think.
Okay.
So I think just come up, say hello, that you're interested in, learning how to get started or getting started. I mean, I work with, my company is Sister Style Productions here in Nashville. We are always
Mhm.
looking for people. We've given a lot of people, their start or more experience in terms of, theater, which leads to other, mediums. And
Okay.
yeah, so I'm always looking to meet new actors and actresses and get them involved as much as possible.
Okay. Speaking of being involved, you're definitely in the Nashville area. And tell us a little bit about the places that you have put on performances and plays at.
Well, our home base, I would say, is the Dark Horse Theater. It's at
Okay.
4610 Charlotte Avenue. Shannon Wood has been very, very generous and gracious with us. We've been doing plays there for over 20 years, ever since the first time I just randomly called her up and said, "Hey, how can I produce a play there?" And we've been doing plays there ever since. So that's
Okay.
definitely the home base. But we go to places as well. So we do performances on site with organizations if needed. We travel a lot with our shows. But yeah, Dark Horse is our main base right now.
Okay. So, of course, I'm a fan of yours. I actually went to see a couple of your plays. Shout out to Sean Witzel. Shout out to Molly. I know all of them. They're really
Yeah, right.
cool. But tell us a little bit about, one of the plays that you like when you first started. Like, tell us
Mhm.
about the genesis of of the plays that that you put on.
Well, when I first started producing, I actually started producing other people's shows. So
Mm,
the very first show that I produced was a show called Love's Light and Flight. And I basically started my theater company because I was trying to get experience in the acting world. And I had done a film and met a few people in there. John
mm,
Wiggins was one of them.
okay.
And I was talking to him about, hey, how do I, build up my resume? How do I get experience? And, he was like, hey, you got to do theater. So I started digging into it and found this play that I really liked called Love's Light and Flight
Okay.
and put out an audition notice. And I always tell this story because I happen to get like the exact number of actors and actresses for the
Okay.
roles I had. So everybody got cast. John ended up being the director of it after meeting him on that film set. And yeah, it just kind of grew from there. So from there, I did, a lot of people's shows for a few years and then kind of built up a core base of people who I really loved working with and who we'd done a few projects with. And I really wanted to do something with that particular group of people, but just didn't have the exact right play to do. So I don't
Hmm.
know. Somehow I got in my head that I was just going to write a play. It just kind of
Okay.
started from there. So I wrote this play called The 70% Club, that we ended up performing for quite a while. And actually, we ended up making that into a film with Howard Bell, and
Mm,
did the part two of that. So that's how my writing career kind of started from there.
perfect. Perfect. Okay. Well, let's go into one of the plays that, you know, probably has took on a big, audience after, obviously the film, the newest musical, Color Purple. I
Mhm.
want you to rate the film, the musical that we saw compared to what we saw years ago with Whoopi Goldberg. So if you had to compare, if you had to rate the new one compared to
Mhm.
the old one, how would you rate them?
I mean, I enjoyed both. I think it'd be hard for me to say one's, over the other. I mean, I think the film is such a, iconic film, such a classic, but the stage version, the musical is, I don't think was necessarily intended to be exactly what the film was. I mean, you're talking, something totally different. So I personally love both of them. I think, there's space for everything and, everything's going to have its audience. So that's kind of the way I look at it.
Okay, okay. All right, my second question, we're gonna go to August Wilson.
Okay.
What do you think was his best piece?
God, that's a tough question. He has so many. I think my favorite is Seven Guitars, just
Mm,
because that was the first one that I actually got to act in. I'm trying to think, is that the only one I've acted in? I don't know. I've done readings of a lot of them, but
okay.
yeah, that one always has a special place for me because we just had a really great cast, and it was just a lot of fun to bring that piece to life. That's one that kind of sticks out in my mind the most. But obviously all of his pieces are classics and things to study as a playwright and artist, so it's kind of hard to say this one was the best, but Seven Guitars is one of my favorites for sure.
Okay. All right. All right. So I want you to dig in your mind here, and you get the opportunity to reproduce a play, but you want to make it a modern play. So think
Oh.
about one of the classic plays that you endure, adored, and you want to make it in 2025. So what is something that you will want to do?
Oh, that's a tough one. A classic play. I think, I mean, if we're gonna go like classic, I think like all of Shakespeare's, and people have been remaking those throughout the years, but I always kind of find that fun when people take like one of the Shakespeare plays. Um, I was just reading something recently. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe Hamlet. That's yeah, it was Hamlet actually. I think there's a play going on in Chicago right now, and now of course I can't think of the name of it, but I wanted to go see it, where it was kind of like a remake, kind of based off of that. And I just thought that was a really cool idea. So I think that would be fun to take one of his plays and kind of remake it again to something modern.
Okay, cool, cool. Again, I want you to dig a little bit.
Okay.
We're gonna take a movie that was never produced as a play.
Hmm.
What would be a movie that you would like to, reproduce as a play?
Ooh, let's see. Well, the thing that comes to mind is like Purple Rain, just because I'm a big Prince fan.
Mm,
But
mm,
watching that back, watching it when I was younger and then watching it, the last few years, it's definitely different,
okay.
but big Prince fan. I would love to remake, that, or I think Under the Cherry Moon is one of his movies that most people either haven't heard of or they didn't have really high, thoughts about, but I love Under the Cherry Moon. I think it's so funny. And so I think that would be kind of fun to do as like a stage play.
Okay. Okay. So let's get into, as some people say, the meat and potatoes of this.
Okay.
And the play that you're bringing back to us so we can go back and enjoy again.
Hmm.
Tell us why, tell us the story if someone hasn't seen the movie, and what should they expect when they see your version of
Yeah, well, so 6888 is a show that I started doing, well, wrote and actually started producing in 2014. So we've been telling this story for a long time. It's about the first group of the first all female, all black battalion that went overseas during World War II. And they were basically given the mission to get the mail system moving again. All of these soldiers had been, out in the field, not receiving any letters from home. Folks back home were not receiving letters from, their sons in the field. So
Mhm.
it was a big deal for these black women to be given this task. Many people had tried to do it before, including, some white men. They were unsuccessful. So people kind of
Mhm.
doubted that these black women could suddenly, do something that hadn't been able to been done before. So I first saw a picture of these women. I was sitting at my desk and I saw a picture of these women just marching through Europe. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, who are these black? You could tell it was like an old photograph. I had never heard of the 6888, never knew
Mhm.
that they had served in World War II. And so I was immediately intrigued by this photograph. And then when I started researching it, it just upset me that I hadn't learned about them, that they didn't get their, props when they got back home. They didn't get any kind of recognition about,
Okay.
the great accomplishment that they had done. It was just like, okay, you did it, now go on with your life,
Mhm.
and they got no recognition until like years and years later. So that really bothered me, and I really felt it was a story that needed to be told. So that's kind of what inspired me to start to write the story and to start telling the story, over the last 10 years. So the last time we did the show was about a year ago, but was before the movie came out, and we did it in Florida. So I had always hoped to, bring it back. And this kind of seemed like the right time. It has some availability in terms of space. I'm working on a project that I'm trying to do, hopefully to outreach to veterans and people in the military.
Okay.
And with it kind of being Black History Month / Women's History Month, with February and March, this just seemed like a great time to bring the show back.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So the question I had for you was when I saw that you were bringing it back,
Mhm.
I didn't know you even brought it for the first time. So I didn't know. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so if we're bringing it back, we got a movie coming out. Now, you said you wrote this, right? So there's going to be some differences between what we saw on the movie compared
Oh, yeah.
to, so without spoiling anything,
Mhm.
just name one difference that we'll see on the stage compared to what we've seen on the silver screen.
Well, I think the main thing, I mean, there's just two different angles of telling the story. I mean, I think, first of all, the story is based around historical events. So, there's certain things that happen historically that would be touched on in my play and in the movie. But I think
Mhm.
from there, it's just something totally different. My play centers around these four women, Cleopatra, Sadie, Paige, and Sammy. And
Mhm.
then it focuses on their major, which is a fictional major. So it really tells the story of these four women, how they come from these different backgrounds, how
Okay.
they get put into, rooming together and having to resolve their conflicts. But their stories are completely different and original from what was in the movie. So it has a
Okay.
little bit of mystery in it as well, in terms of kind of a missing letter that, they're trying to track down, has some romance, which that movie had some romance too, but kind of a different romance. And so, yeah, I think,
Okay.
even if you've seen the film, I think you can definitely appreciate the stage play in terms of telling it from a different angle. And, these four women, I mean, I love these characters. These are like some of my favorite characters that I've created. So they're
Nice.
so different, and seeing them kind of come together and bond over the things that happen are kind of the core of the story. In the meantime, also celebrating and acknowledging what the 6888 did as a whole, but it really is focused on these particular characters that I created.
Okay. Perfect. Uh, I want you to shout out like some of the actors that are portraying some of the characters, and when and where people in the Nashville area can see this?
Yeah, sure. So I'm excited that we've got some of the original cast coming back. So I have been so blessed to have actors that have been doing this show and been along on this journey for the last 10 years. So we have Candace Amnera, who is Sammy. She originated the role of Sammy, along with Sean Witzel, who originated the role of Otis. So I'm happy to have them back. We have Molly Breen, who originated her role as Major Greer. And then we've got some new folks as well. So we've got Shantae King as Major Dixon.
Okay.
Let's see. I know I'm leaving folks out. Oh, we have Dewana Hammonds as Paige. I'm actually in it. I'm playing Cleopatra. And then we also have CJ, who is just jumping in the role as Sadie. So we've got a mix of new folks and actors that have originated the characters and been doing the show for a long time. So we have a really great cast. Also have a student from TSU, Jonathan Dans, who is joining the show for the first time. Okay. So yeah, we've got a mix of kind of the old original veterans and new people, and it's a really, really good cast.
Okay.
The show's actually going to be 3 shows only. It's going to be February 28th, so next Friday at 7:30, March 1st at 7:30, that Saturday, and then that Sunday, March 2nd at 4 o'clock. And it's going to be at Dark Horse Theater on 46th in Charlotte.
Okay. Nice, yeah. Nice. Mm-hmm. Now, see, here, audience, see, I always call out my people here when I interview them. They always try to slip something in. See, she acts too. So she tried to slip it in and just said, oh, yeah, I'm in it too. Then she just kind of went over to the next person, which is all
I had to think about it. I was like, wait, who's in it? No, just kidding.
So let's segue into you right now. Okay. All right, when did you first start acting?
I first started acting probably about, it's been over 20 years now. Like I said, okay. I got kind of decided I wanted to give it a try. Actually went on an audition and got cast in this film, an independent film. And that was like my first audition ever. And somebody actually didn't get the part. So I didn't get it the first time, but then they ended up not being able to do it. So I got cast in this film. And then from there, I just kind of caught the bug and really wanted to keep going with it. So that's kind of how it all started. And I do, like I said, a little bit of everything. So I loved acting. You know, probably one of my favorite things is actually just to act in the production and not have any other responsibilities, you know, to just be an actor and not have to worry about producing or directing. You know, I always love that. But yeah, I do a little bit of everything.
Okay, nice. So we have an actor / producer here. So, you know, I always tell people to check people's social media. It tells you a lot about what they're doing, what could be coming up for them. So this is her opportunity now to say, what will you find? What will I find if I go to your social media and check out your page?
Mostly just talking about shows, you know, come see this show, come see that show, you know. Yeah, so definitely trying to spread the word about 6888. I didn't mention, but I actually turned the script into a novel. So actually launched this novel in December, which is another reason why I wanted to bring the show back as well. Seemed like a great time to kind of bring it all together. So yeah, so just talking about, you know, how I've written my first novel and go check it out and come see the show, all that fun stuff. And then other than that, it's probably mostly stuff about my kid, you know. So
nice. So
yeah.
Actor, producer, screenwriter, author. What else?
That's enough, isn't it?
No, hey, I don't know. I mean, you could be like a professional chef. You could be a motivational speaker. You could be, you know, a drill sergeant in the Army. Right. I don't know.
I wish my marching would be better in the show, you know. But no, I think that's plenty, you know.
Well, your plate's definitely full from what I've heard right now.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get into a little fun segment here. So
Okay.
we're gonna go. I'm gonna ask you a question, and I just want to answer this first thing comes to your head. But I'm
Okay.
gonna set it up. I call this the Build a Bear segment here.
Okay.
So, female actor. If you gotta build the best female actor, and you get four categories. You get some categories here.
Oh,
First
geez.
one's gonna be on. No, it's okay. It's all right. So first one's gonna be on looks. Second one's gonna be on personality. Third one's gonna be on acting chops, and the fourth one will be after you answer three. I'm gonna give you the fourth one. So let's. I'm gonna start with this one here. Looks. Who has the ideal look for you for your perfect actor?
I see. I'm hesitant to do stuff like that just because I think everybody has a different look and some looks go
No.
with things, you know? So, I
Okay.
mean, I will say there's a lot of beautiful actresses out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess somebody who kind of jumps to mind if I'm like, oh, just, she's always beautiful in everything she does. I think that Gabrielle Union is a beautiful actress and, you know,
Okay.
um, just has, lots of different, looks that I think are nice. But like I said, there's so many looks out there. So I don't want to say, oh, she's the most best looking person in the world. But yeah,
No, it's okay.
I like
All
her.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. The second one would be personality.
Ooh, personality. Um, I don't know.
I mean, just
Anybody's
who?
personality? Let me think. I can't even think of any act. Like I'm suddenly just drawing a blank. I'm like, I can't think of one personality.
I can help you out here.
All right, go ahead. Throw
So,
me some names. Okay.
what, I'm not gonna throw you a name, but I'm gonna throw you a little lifeline here. So, just
Okay.
imagine you're on YouTube and you just scrolling through, and you
Mm-hmm.
see them getting interviewed,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, "Oh, I need to watch this interview. I didn't know she did this," and I just like to hear what she got to say.
Hmm. Let's see. Of course, I'm picturing her, but I can't think of the name all of a sudden.
Hmm.
What's my girl from Empire?
Taraji.
Yes. I think she always gives great interviews.
Okay.
Always
All right.
I think if I see her, I always want to stop and hear what she's got to say. So yeah, she'd probably be one I would be like personality wise. I definitely always want to like check out, see what her angle is, see what she's got to say.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Third segment here is going to be who has the acting chops. They they're gonna get in there. They're gonna get that role. They
Yeah.
always knock it out the park. So who is that?
Well, I mean, of course, Viola Davis is someone that like immediately
Mhm.
jumps to mind. I mean, I think she's been in everything and has
Yes.
killed it in everything. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say between her, Angela Bassett, of course, too, is somebody to always, if one of them are going to be in something that it's going to be good.
Okay. All right. Last one is going to be best dressed.
Best
I,
dress.
I don't want to get you in trouble because I know you know people. So,
I don't know
but
people like that, but of course, I can't think of any actors right now. Best dressed.
mhm.
Jeez, I don't know. I'd probably have to say Gabrielle Union again. I don't know. She always
You don't
dresses
get.
nice. She's
Okay.
always
We're
looks
gonna,
good on the red carpet. Yeah.
all right. So that's pretty good. You knocked it. I like your answers. I don't have
Okay.
any problem with it.
All right, cool.
All right. Next one's going to be. You're probably going to hate me for this one.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. All right. You had to pick your favorite between the two. Ava DuVernay or Shonda Rhimes.
Ooh. Um. Ooh. That's tough. That is so tough. Um. I would maybe say, I love both of their work, obviously. I would maybe say Shonda Rhimes just because, she definitely been on her grind in terms of the number of projects that she's done.
Okay.
Having, Grey's Anatomy's been on what for how many years, I mean, she's
Yeah.
basically built this empire. So I think you have to admire and respect kind of the empire that she's built with all of her different shows and everything for sure.
Okay. All right. Tyler Perry or Will Packer? I know.
What the?
No disrespect.
Will Packer. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Would you rather go to Sundance Film Festival or ABFF?
Well, I'm sorry, my eyes are watering for some reason. I have been to ABFF a few times, love that festival. So
Okay.
I'd probably just say Sundance just because I haven't gotten to experience it yet.
Okay. All right. Would you rather? I'm gonna. That's a hard one. I'm not gonna ask you that one.
Okay, thank you.
Not right now. Not right now.
Okay.
No, forget it. I'm asking.
Oh Lord.
Who's the most overrated actor in Hollywood? I know everybody asks, they don't like this one.
Overrated actor. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of anybody. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. You love them all. You love them all.
Or else I don't watch it. You know what I mean? It's like, I've always kind of been like, I hate to criticize somebody's art because
Yeah.
I feel like there's something out there for everybody. So even if it's not my cup of tea, somebody's obviously liking it, especially if they're getting to do things over and over. So, I think it's all just about finding your audience. And some people have kind of found their audience and found that niche and, that's all they're going to do. And they, might be considered maybe overrated because that's all they do. But I think if you have an audience for it, you got to respect it,
Okay. Understood. We all know the Super Bowl just passed, and obviously Kendrick Lamar was there performing in New Orleans. But for 2026, who would you love to see on the stage in San Francisco for next Super Bowl?
Is it too soon for Beyonce to do it again?
I don't know if they ever had a repeat.
I love a good Beyonce show now, so I'm always gonna root for that. But yeah, bring back Beyonce. That's my answer.
Okay. Now we're gonna get into another play.
Okay.
But I'm gonna do it like this here. One of my favorite plays was A Raisin in the Sun. If you were to get a chance to reproduce that play and you wanted to change it and make it a modern play, what is something that you would do to put it in today's times?
That's a good question. Well, I guess one, I wouldn't say that I would ever try to, rewrite A Raisin in the Sun. That's a classic. But I think, in terms of modernizing it, I mean, I think, the issues that they were going through with trying to move into the neighborhood. And, I think there's still a lot of hate in the world today. So, even though, it might not be like, oh, we don't want somebody, you can't blatantly say, we don't want you to move in here or whatever. I think there's so many things that people do politically to make people feel unwelcome. So, I mean, I think you could definitely play on a lot of the things that are happening in the world right now in terms of, certain people not being welcome or wanted and just people being so blatant about it. I think, until like the last few years, there was still all these things happening, but people were hesitant to voice it. But now I think it's kind of free. People feel like they have a free for all, some people, to just say what they want, say how they really feel, So I think, those certain types of things that are happening, politically and socially could be something that could be worked into that somehow.
Okay, I like that. It's pretty good because in today's times that we have to think about what we say, what we
Mm-hmm.
portray now, because the kids and people are like sponges to it, and they say, "Oh, if this person can do it, then I should be able to do it." But I like the classic films and the classic plays because it gives them an opportunity to see obviously black folks or whatever in a different light. Because the only
Mm-hmm.
light they see now is what's going on in 2025. There was a time where you didn't have technology. You had to be more creative with certain things. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't have social media. You had to engage with more people because you had to do a lot more face to face things. Um,
Right.
and that kind of segues into my next question here. So, audition wise, do you like the technology to audition on like Zoom and things like that, or you rather have someone face to face come in there and you know portray a character, do a monologue? How would you like audition set up for you?
I think it's always ideal when you can audition in person if possible, just because
Okay,
you just get a kind of little more of that kind of real feeling. There's always a little bit of a disconnect when you're doing something virtually. Or if you're watching a tape, there's even more of a disconnect because you can't be like, oh, that was good, but I wonder if they could have just tweaked this little thing. I would have loved to see it this way. And you can't really do that with a taped audition. You can do that more with Zoom though. So, but I think it's
okay,
great that we do have these technologies because now you're not limited to just the people in your immediate vicinity. If
okay,
someone is willing to travel or if you're casting a show that's in another city, then it might make more sense to do something virtually. And, now you have those opportunities. So both have their, definitely pluses and minuses. But in terms of, I think the most I love the most would probably be the in-person auditions. But I'm so happy that we have this technology because it makes life so much easier and it makes casting, easier when you're not in the same place.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the opportunity. You get to ask me a question. So,
Okay.
what question?
All right. So let's see. Tell me your favorite film or play that you've seen here recently, like in the last year or so.
Favorite film I've seen was definitely 6 Triple 8.
Oh,
It
really?
was a
Interesting.
it was because I knew the story. My dad was a history teacher.
Mm,
I knew, but there were so many things I didn't know that I discovered when I watched the film on
mm,
how it was all set up there when it came to the facility. I know some things was probably a little creative, you know, you know, I don't know if it was exactly like that,
mm-hmm,
but I just love the essence of Tyler Perry actually creating something. I'm no disrespect, but creating something that had more substance in it. I
mm,
learned so much. I felt the characters more. The
mm-hmm,
dialogue was a lot better. I don't know if he was the only screenwriter, he probably wasn't, but it was just something that made me feel in my soul that these ladies went through these things
mm-hmm,
and they accomplished a goal that the odds were all against them.
mm-hmm,
And this is one of the first times I really felt that he took a story the where it was in the organic sense and put it on the screen and I enjoyed it. Some
mm-hmm,
of the other ones he didn't do that.
mm.
Obviously shows he doesn't do that as much. But this one I did feel that.
Cool.
Play now you asked me about a play.
Mm-hmm,
I haven't seen very many plays in the last couple years just because of they haven't been around. A lot of things I've seen, my wife acts as well. Um, she went and did a piece in Adams, Tennessee. Was up for the Bell Witch,
ah,
so she did that part up there, and I seen that.
okay.
Um, but it wasn't a play. But I tell you this, what I usually do, I usually go online and I
Mhm.
watch how people portray characters in plays I don't even know anything about. And
Mhm.
I remember there was this lady, she was more of a poet, but in her poetry came out in her character. And I kind of felt that, I felt
Mhm.
what she was trying to portray with the character that was a poet, that she was a poet, but the emotions that she had in her writing delivered on stage. And I felt like it was more of a monologue piece than an actual play.
Okay.
But that was something that I was very entertained because I like when people get into character, especially characters that are, of course, not themselves. They're trying to portray something different, but
Right.
you still have a little bit yourself in it when you deliver it.
Mhm.
So that's probably
Nice.
my two things there.
Okay.
Um, got
Yeah, Sean
any?
and I did a show about where in one of the Bell Witch shows years and years. I think Sean was in it, but we did
Okay.
one of the Bell Witch shows long, long time ago. Yeah. Mhm.
Sean is everywhere. I'll tell you that much.
Right. Mhm.
All right. You got anything else that you want to say to your audience, your people, your followers, or whatever? Here's your opportunity.
Yeah, no, I hope people come back out and see 6888, or if you've never seen if you haven't seen it, this is a great opportunity to catch it. And the following weekend, I did want to add, we're also doing a couple of things in honor of International Women's Day. We
Okay.
have a reading of a brand new play by a young writer named MJ. We're doing a stage reading of her play called Chance on Friday the 7th.
Okay.
And then on March 8th, which is actual International Women's Day, we're having a monologue show. We got a bunch of great actors and
Okay.
writers who have written some original monologues about, celebrating being a woman. It's called Love Letters to Ourselves.
Okay.
So yeah, those are two more events we have the following weekend on March 7th and 8th. So hopefully people can come check those out as well.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, I can guess it's my time to say what I got coming up next. I got a
Oh
couple more
yes.
interviews. Yeah, I got a couple more interviews coming up. This is my platform. I do interviews on there. I ask questions and I look for people's responses based off of what's going on in current events and history. I mean, in current events. I do talk a little bit about history. I talk a little bit about motivation here on my post when I'm on YouTube or when I'm on Instagram, getting a little more into motivation. We all need motivation these days. We all need things that inspire us. But I
Mhm.
also I'm putting together my writers group kind of meetup, and I'm gonna do it on this particular platform. So the writers here that write books, short stories, plays, or whatever, I'm trying to get them as many people together, and they get the chance to pitch and talk about their story, something that they've created here in the last year or so as a promotional tool for them in their creative endeavors. So that's
Mhm.
something I'm looking to do toward the end of March. That's probably one of my biggest things I'm doing. And then the other thing is, we got the NFL draft, so I go have an NFL page as well. So I will be going on and having some interviews and talking a little bit about the NFL. So those are a couple things I'm doing here in 2025 in the first quarter.
Sweet. Those sound really good. That's a cool idea about the writers.
Oh yeah,
So yeah.
I, I've been asking myself. I've been like sometimes I miss because kind of COVID kind of destroyed everything
Mhm.
of people meeting in person, but they went
Mhm.
kind of online. But then I'm like, well, I started interviewing some of them, and they're like, oh, yeah, it'd be a great idea to bring us all together. We can kind of talk like we did before. So that's something I want to do and try to get done here in the first quarter. I will get it done. So
Mhm.
hopefully you're going to be entertained. Stay
Yeah,
tuned to my
I
page.
can't wait to check that out. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then you got
Mhm.
a book. Tell people how to get the book.
The book is on Amazon. It's on Kindle or paperback, and it's just called 6888 by Mary McCallum.
Okay, all right,
Yeah. Mhm.
perfect. I might have to check that out here because I do read when I get a chance to. So that'll be entertaining read. All
Okay.
right.
Nice.
That One more thing here I want to ask you. So this is for the inspiring actor. Um, if they want to become an actor, and not just with you, but like on a grand level, they want to go out to Atlanta, they want to go to Houston, whatever, audition for them.
Mhm.
Just give them some words of encouragement, what they probably should do before they go out and become a try to become an actor.
Well, I mean, I think, obviously, studying as much as you can. And when I say studying, I mean watching other people's performances, reading what you can about, the art of acting. There's all kinds of different methods that people, live and breathe by. I think, learning about those. But I would think the main thing is just try to just jump in and get some experience, and I think theater is a great place to start. Even if you're not starting out on the stage, you could start out, behind the scenes and just kind of watch what's going on and learn different things, and then start getting your feet wet. I mean, I think one of the biggest things, that I did was, just getting into the theater. And there's nothing like performing live in terms of, I feel like if you can do theater, you can do anything, because you can, how to pivot, how to do things. So
Right.
but yeah, and I would just say don't let fear or self-doubt stop you. Just if this is what you want to do, if it's your dream, then you just got to go out there and make it happen. So I would just say get involved as much as you can, get as much experience as you can.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, please shout out your social media so people can follow you. And
Yeah, on Facebook and Instagram, it is at Sister Style Productions, and that's SISTA Style Productions, all one word.
all right, perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. I want to say this. I want to say thank you so much for coming on here
Well, thank
and
you.
giving you a little moment of your day to be able to talk about what you have going on in your creative endeavors like plays, books, and etc. I just want to say thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for reaching out and having me, and thank you for, this platform that you're doing. It's great that you're, doing this to help people spread the word about what they're doing and supporting folks in that way. So this is great. And I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate it so much. And my
Okay.
audience at Based Off Characters, we have done it again. We have gotten another great interview. Definitely check out my next interview coming up soon. Obviously, I want you to rewatch this one because you probably missed something on here. And like I do, I always go back and review because I always miss something and then I find something else out, like how she tried to sneak in that she was an actor and all stuff like that. So you catch
I,
stuff like that
I
when you
said that
rewatch
at
it.
the beginning, I think.
Or maybe I missed it. That was probably me missing it right
No,
there. So
I might have missed it. We'll see one way or the other. Right.
okay.
All
All
right.
right. All right.
All right.
Well, audience, thank you so much. Until I speak to y'all again, be peaceful, be safe, be creative, and just have fun for the life that we have because we got this opportunity that everybody doesn't get. Again, thank you so much, Mary. I'll
All
speak
right.
to you
Thank
again.
you. All right.
All right.
Have a good night. Bye.
All right. Bye.